I'm going to anticipate the next question. It's Max Major, and this is episode 164 of the vlog. It is Sunday right now. Had an incredible week of shows. Been relaxing most of the day. Went and had some barbecue. But my favorite part of Sunday is Major Questions. Today is a special episode of Major Questions because I won't be choosing the questions. Christy will.
Dakota Tidwell asks, what are your plans this Christmas and New Year's?
Christmas Eve, actually every Christmas Eve for the last 6 years, I've done a show for the same family in Bethesda, Maryland. So Bill and Jenny meet. If you're watching, looking forward to it. Christmas Day, actually gonna head up to New York to spend a little bit of time with you, Christy.
I can't wait. Dan Liang asks, hi Max, who is the greatest magician ever lived?
The greatest magician who ever lived? I'd probably have to say Houdini, and it's because we all know his name. I mean, if you think about the level of recognition he was able to achieve prior to the age of social media and even television, which didn't come along till the end of his career. I mean, if you can get the word out about who you are and what you do, in fact, to legendary levels without the aid of modern technology, I'd have to say you must have been one of the greatest showmen of all time.
Commander M
Better be a good one, Christy.
on Instagram asks, if you had to eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
If I could eat one thing.
You can't choose like pizza and then say, oh, I'll have cheese pizza and veggie pizza. It's gotta be like specific, so cheese pizza.
Did you ask the question? Are you Commander M?
I am.
I would say a BLT with a sunny side up egg on it and a cup of coffee.
Teresa Hammond Lelux asks, how did you discover that there's no Santa Claus that comes down the chimney?
Santa is real?
Chappelle.04 asks, when do you plan to settle down for a while and have kids?
I don't ever think I'll slow down or settle down or shift gears. I'd imagine I'll always be super ambitious. Children, on the other hand, not something I have to think about right now. So maybe I'll be a dad, maybe I won't. Good news is, don't have to decide yet. Got plenty of time.
Jason Silberman on Instagram asks, name the top 3 magicians that inspire you.
Ooh, that's a really good one. I'm gonna start chronologically. When I was 14 years old, or 15, I went to Vegas with my grandparents for the very first time, and that was actually the first time I ever saw professional magicians. Like, I realized that people could do this for a living. And the show in particular that really spoke to me was Lance Burton at the Monte Carlo. So that would be probably my earliest inspiration in magic. After that was just as I was about to graduate high school, was seeing David Copperfield's show. In fact, myself and a few friends of mine skipped our senior prom so that we could see David Copperfield at the Lyric in Baltimore. And then later inspiration, college and maybe sort of post-college would have to be Darren Brown. If you don't know who he is incredible. Look him up, YouTube, Darren Brown, one of the most incredible mentalists of all time.
Joel_magic on Instagram asks, what is the most educated or clever thing any layperson has ever said to you about magic?
Layperson is a muggle, for those of you watching, someone who does not do magic.
That's a really good question.
It's a hard question. Your fly is down? What about the guy that got me in the museum? Shoes untied? Got him!
That was so good.
It's usually like conversations I end up having with people after the show. Last night in particular, a guy came up to me who was a private investigator, and we had a really long conversation about body language and reading people and detecting lies. He was actually saying to me that in his eyes, there's no one indicator that someone's lying. There's only signs that show heightened anxiety, and for him, it just leads to a different line of questioning. So that was a pretty intelligent conversation from a layperson, and I happen to agree.
PFF Grumpus.
Is that at Schmalejandro?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you enjoy water sports?
That's like just knowing, so if that were anyone else asking the question, I would say, yeah, I love water skiing. I've been wakeboarding, I've been kneeboarding. But knowing this guy, it's like some trick question, sex innuendo thing, which
Really?
implies getting peed on. I'm just guessing. That's what that means.
Simon Burrows on Twitter asks, if you could be a Christmas present, what would you be and why?
I'd just wrap myself in wrapping paper, let you unwrap me. I'd be a V-neck t-shirt.
Cody Ryan on Twitter asks, do you sometimes find it difficult to record daily vlogs?
Vlogging is tricky because I thought when I first started this that you would just turn on your camera and do what you normally do in a day, but it's not really that simple. There's a lot more to it. So it's not about sort of creating situations in my life to film. It's just the act of filming that at times is actually tiring. So I most certainly have days when I don't want to do it. It's funny, every time I think about stopping vlogging, and to be honest, I've thought several times about stopping vlogging, something happens that makes me realize why I'm doing this. And typically it's a note from one of you guys or a comment that someone posts on one of the videos that makes me realize sort of why I'm doing this. And so honestly, it's your guys' comments and your questions that keep me going. That's it for this episode of Major Questions. From the random to the thought-provoking. I appreciate your notes. You can send me these questions anytime on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram using hashtag Major Questions, and I'll answer yours on the next show. Christy has decided, as I mentioned, judge, jury, and executioner. This week's question of the week goes to Joel_Magic. Thanks for your question. Thought-provoking audience members. I'm a robot, and I just short-circuited.